All right, let's talk about the newest Jets left tackle, Tyron Smith, who is, having a potential Hall of Fame career. I think probably will end up in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done, and is still playing at a high level. I mean, to look at his Pro Football Focus grades year in and year out before we get into the film, you see that, the grades are very good. There's a couple of dips, but you notice the dips are usually due to snap count and kind of small sample size. In fact, that's the key thing, the key knock against him at this point is in the past 4 seasons, he has had multiple years where he's missed a ton of playing time and even missed some playing time in the other two, seasons as well. So that's not ideal. He is someone who will get banged up, but again, will probably get you 800 snaps, right? Has gotten you 800 snaps most years. So I wouldn't necessarily go into the season expecting him to be hurt right away, but there is that risk factor. But again, the grades are very good, and the tape is honestly even better. Like, let's start off with this play. It's going to be a one-on-one matchup against Preston Smith. That's primarily who he was going up against in that playoff game that did not go too well for the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately for Smith. But let's talk about, Smith versus Smith on this play. So, when it begins, you see Preston Smith is going for much more of an outside move right here. And you see that Tyron Smith has his left hand kind of on the, right shoulder pad area of Preston Smith. Maybe I shouldn't have picked two guys with the same last name because now I have to keep saying their first names. But it's that left hand for Tyron that is so good. The fact that he can get his left hand so consistently where he wants to is why it's so difficult to beat him. Because watch what Tyron is going to do to Preston here. Watch Tyron just shove him completely behind Dak Prescott, gets him out of the way, and I'm going to be honest, this is kind of one of his worst snaps. Like, usually Tyron Smith looks a lot better than he did on this play. That's kind of what's, if you go for the outside move like that, that's usually not what works, but like, what else can you do? Because then there's stuff like this. And, a couple times Dallas would have kind of a guy in the game to chip Preston Smith, which I'm not really sure why, because, kind of just slowing someone else down. I guess if you're already there, might as well. But, Tyron Smith does not need it. Anyway, him on Preston Smith one-on-one once again. Watch how when it begins, you see, again, it's that left hand that's really important. Yes, the right hand is also where he wants it to be, but that left hand is so important because watch what Preston Smith is going to do on this play. Actually, a correction, I think this might actually be Lucas Van Ness. Kind of a little bit hard to tell. Can't get a good look at the jersey number. But anyway, watch what the edge rusher is going to do with his left hand. Watch as he tries to get it free, but Tyron Smith says, whatever. And because his left hand, Tyron Smith's left hand was on so well that right hand isn't always as important as long as you can get that left hand locked on, right? Because you're a left tackle, that's kind of the key placement that you want it to be, and it's just so hard to get around him in that scenario. It's so hard to get the hand placements to where you need to be because Smith is so good at getting his hand placement where he wants it to be. Like this one's another one where again there's going to be a chip on this play, so that's a noticeable factor here, but that's the way it's going to work. It's going to be once again a one-on-one matchup. This is Lucas Van Ness, and let's see what Van Ness is going to do on this play. Well, Prescott takes a snap. You see that there is kind of more of a chip this time than last time. And again, Smith has the hand placement where he wants to be. So, okay, for Van Ness, well, what do you try and do right here? Well, watch, again, once again, watch Van Ness's left hand. He's going to desperately try and get it free, and a couple times even does, but because Van Ness's right hand was never able to get what it needed to do, it doesn't matter. Again, Tyron Smith is someone, quite frankly, that for Aaron Rodgers, you're just going to trust that you're protected on that side of the field, which is such a nice luxury to have. Again, yes, every tackle will give up pressure eventually if you give them enough time, but the reality is that's just someone you can trust, and getting a superstar left tackle is really, incredible value. And if he didn't have injury histories and was 5 years younger, we'd be looking at like a $30 million contract. I really think that's what we'd be looking at with him. And even stuff like this, I talk about his hands so much, but it's not just his hands. This play, it is Preston Smith on this one in a one-on-one matchup. Watch how Preston Smith is going to kind of fake as though he's doing an inside move. He's trying to get Tyron Smith to kind of move further in towards the middle, and then Preston's going to run towards the outside. Kind of trying to see if he can sort of use speed a little bit to get past Tyron Smith. The issue is Tyron Smith can move laterally so well. watch as Tyron just stays with him, is able to block him out of the way. Again, no chance pressure was going to come from that side. That's just a huge, great block on that play. These things get so frustrating if you're an edge rusher, right? How do I get past the guy? If I try to overpower him, he gets the hand placement I want, and you're not overpowering him. So if I try to get by him, again, he usually gets the hand placement he wants. You can't run by him. If you can't beat him with hands, you can't beat him with footwork, you can't beat him with speed, you can't beat him with strength, then you can't beat him. Like, it's that simple. And I also want to talk about the running game. Because, like, listen, we all talk about left tackles in the case of, got to protect the quarterback, especially when the quarterback is an older quarterback who just spent all of last year with a torn Achilles. Definitely something you want to do. But the running game still does matter, and Tyron Smith is very good at helping out in the running game. A play like this, it's going to be a double team, and then he's going to get off that first block and block Devondre Campbell at the next level. And watch how well this works. Watch how he does, get that, help out that double team and moves up to the next level, gets to Campbell so effectively. So if the run was getting through, which it's not, it's well played by Green Bay on the other side of the field. But if it was going in that direction, Smith has it completely locked down. As you see, he kind of holds off Campbell pretty well there as well. So yeah, again, these are just the kind of things that Smith can bring to the table. These are the types of plays that you kind of just expect him to make and expect him to make consistently. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about him as a player as a whole. I do think he is someone who is still very good, and I think the injury concerns are still there and are still valid concerns, but I'm not sure if I would say they're quite as concerning as your average person might say they are. I think that you kind of talk about him almost as someone who has missed half the season in 3 straight years or something like that. That's not really the case with Smith. Again, 2 out of the last 3 years, he's given you over 800 snaps. That's pretty good. And again, you just hope that he doesn't get an injury late in the season. If he is going to be missed time, you hope that he kind of gets that out of the way early on. What you really hope is that he's fully healthy. But the Jets have also attacked some depth this offseason at the tackle position with the Morgan Moses signing, which I kind of thought was going to be it for them, but no, they go out and get Smith as well. And the only other real factor you would throw in is Smith is getting up there in age, but I still would think he'd be good at least this year. And for the Jets, they're not really concerned about long term at this point. They should be focused solely on winning right now, not worrying about winning in the future, because, once Rodgers leaves, I don't think winning is going to happen. So they're trying to make sure that Rodgers has as good of a situation as possible, and they should be. I mean, that's what they should be doing. This is a weak spot, and again, I kind of touched on this on my first thoughts video, but they don't want to go into the draft needing a specific position. They tried that last year. It didn't work out. And just in general, you never want to go into the draft needing a specific position. You want to be able to go into the draft maybe with a couple of I'd prefer this position, but mostly you want to go in and say, can I just get whichever player is going to help us the most this season, whoever that is, instead of we have to get this position or we're screwed. They don't have to get any position now, so that's a huge win, and I really think Smith is going to be really good with the Jets next year. Hopefully he stays healthy. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.